let go, or if you leave or change jobs and you have an old or a 401k plan with that company you were with or that school you were with, you can move that into a self-directed account with us. And there's no taxes paid on that. It just moves over seamlessly into a self-directed traditional retirement account.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a Money Monday, where we are talking about your least favorite topic, finances, but we need to talk about this, all right? You have to get your finances under control as a strength and conditioning coach. What we're going to talk about today is my specific example, how I was able to get my retirement plan under control, and it's from Greg's company here, Horizon Trust. I'm going to let Greg introduce himself, and I think that this is going to provide you all with a ton of value.
Well, good. Thanks, Justin, for having me. First and foremost, I would say from a sports perspective, this is when, Justin, you sent me the message or the email, I get the most excited. I got 3 boys and all we do is talk about sports and from college to high schools and professional. So thanks for having me. And I also understand a bit about, people moving their retirement accounts and different jobs and opportunities. So first and foremost, I want to say I also I've started with a very small account and retirement account and been able to understand 20 years ago how to unlock and use retirement funds to build wealth and to do what typically you might think only the really rich are doing. And I think that's what's unique and exciting is what I've been doing and I've taught thousands of people to do is unlock, use these retirement accounts as small as they may be. $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 or a couple $100,000, but show you how to get access to those to really invest in what you know and understand and give you more options that you might not be aware of. And so that's what my company does. I've been doing it for 14 years, teaching people how to unlock, get access to old retirement plans, invest in what you like and know and understand, and tell you things that you might not be aware of. Because typically you might only have heard of, what your financial advisor has told you and only given you those few options. And that might not be your thing. And so we help literally hundreds of new people every month doing this. This has been around for 40 years. So this is not like a new concept or some creative out of the box concept. It's just something that most people have not heard about. That's all.
And how come it's something people haven't heard about it before?
Yeah. So look, and I probably should also describe, I in particular talk about self-directing. So self-directing a retirement account or your retirement plan, which basically means it's our company allows you to move over your old pension plans, your old 401ks, or your current IRAs or current Roths or retirement plans from wherever it's at, all or a portion of it, into a trust company like ours, Horizon Trust. Once it arrives to us, it is now in a place where you can self-direct it. So that's what we're going to talk about is actually self-directing, moving your funds in places in alternative assets, things that you might not be aware of, not just the traditional stock market. If you're going to invest in the stock market and you enjoy that and have passion for that, stay there. Most likely that's the place to stay. But if you want to open up your, horizon or look at other options, you could be investing in real estate. I know Justin will probably talk about what he's investing in as well with his self-directed. But the reason why most people have not heard about self-directing, meaning moving and self-directing your funds into an account like ours, which we allow you to tell us where to send your money. We don't tell you or give you, 4 options of where to invest. You actually inform us and say, hey, look, Horizon Trust, we want to move $50,000 or $10,000 into Bitcoin or into a real estate transaction or partner with a friend or lend some money to somebody, a hard money loan. You tell us, we make sure that it's done and documented the correct way. But that's what we do at Horizon Trust. We have over $1 billion in assets. And so we're really good at it and we're really fast as well. But you most likely have not heard about this because of 2 things. One, lack of education that some people have on this. A lot of financial advisors don't even understand it. CPAs as well. It's something new, and sometimes new is scary. And so they don't understand it, so they don't teach it to you. Number 2 reason, which could be the number 1 reason overall, is that there's no compensation for your financial advisor. There is no money that he will make or she will make if you decide to move a portion of or all of your funds to a company like ours, because now they no longer get fees on it. So that's probably one of the number 1 reasons. And then, the last thing I'll say is it's not necessarily for everybody. I think probably those listening to, Ann and right now and have been following Justin, you're action takers. You want to take control or back control of your money. And that's why you're listening to this. if that is not something up your alley, and you like the financial advice from your advisor, and have been getting good consistent returns for 5 or 10 years, you are one of the few. First of all, maybe you should keep doing it. But if you're looking to get some kind of, invest in things that maybe you might understand better, and like a little bit more, this could be your conversation to get access to those retirement funds. And when I say get action, or get the ability to use those funds, you don't get to like go on vacation with those funds. It just means you get to direct them. And so, anyways, that's the quick, that's as quick as the elevator pitch. It's got to be a 100-floor elevator pitch, but as quick as I can go on what a self-directed IRA is.
And so, again, I want to tell everybody my personal experience, having been let go from Towson in June of last year, having that old 401k, and what I did with my old one before going to Towson. I was at Iowa. I rolled it from TIA in Iowa to TIA at Towson. But then I was able to then self-direct once I learned about this. And what I think a lot of coaches can understand if they're skeptical or first hearing about it, you don't, like he just said, it's not like you're instantly being like, oh, all this money's going over here and that. Like, you can almost diversify it, because if your significant other is still working and has a normal quote unquote 401k, or if you get a new job, because if you moved from one place, there's always coaches moving around, you can take the old 401k, put it in Horizon Trust, where you can invest in real estate, you can invest in crypto, you can invest in startups, which I've done all three of those. And if you get a new job, you just have now another traditional 401k, but you gave yourself control. You need CEUs to remain certified. At Strength Coach Network, both of our long form education courses, Fundamentals 1 and Fundamentals 2, both have 2.0 CEUs to the NSCA in Category C. When you complete the learning and you complete the learning check, you will earn your 2.0 CEUs. That is 33% of the CEUs you need in a 3-year reporting period. Click the link down below to learn more about both courses.
That's right. And so a good example is just that, is if you are let go, or if you leave or change jobs, and you have an old or a 401k plan with that company you were with, or that school you were with, you can move that into a self-directed account with us, and there's no taxes paid on that. It just moves over seamlessly into a self-directed traditional retirement account. From there, you can invest in alternative assets like Justin's talking about, from real estate to cryptocurrencies to gold, precious metals, businesses, etc. You could start a new business, or invest in someone's business with your retirement account. And then, as Justin said, when you are employed at your new school, wherever you might be, you can also continue to contribute to a new 401k there. So you can have these multiple retirement accounts. I would say most of my clients do have multiple retirement accounts. I have multiple retirement accounts as well. And so,
Yep.
but let's say then 5 years pass, and now you're coaching at Alabama or wherever it might be, right? I don't know what's the dream school to be coaching at, but whatever it is for you, that you want to be coaching at for your sport. Let's say that you move a second or third time, and you can move that 401k and add it to your self-directed account. Or if you also have two or three, currently right now, 2 or 3 401ks dangling out there, old 401ks, you can combine them into one self-directed account with us
Ooh.
at Horizon Trust. So you don't have to have multiple. And I know that happens as well. And I feel like it's more frustrating for people, where it's like, I got these 4 accounts, they're each worth $5,000. We can get them actually all put together in one self-directed traditional account, potentially even convert it to a Roth, which is another subject we can talk about. And we help you with that. And that's what we do at Horizon Trust, is to help you decide which account is right for you. We do this all day long, helping people get their accounts moved over and set up so you can start investing in what you want.
And the customer services, I mean, they practically held my hand. It did everything for me. So I just want to personally say that from my own self. Anybody that's considering it, you talked about the taxes. Let's dive into that a little bit more with the different types of accounts, just based off of your experiences.
Yeah. So depending upon where you're at, most likely, if you have 10 years or more in saving and growth and preparing for retirement, it most likely a Roth account is the best for you. Now, I'm not a CPA, so I'll still recommend that you consult your own CPA on what the right retirement account is for you. But I like the Roth in particular because even though it's after tax dollars, meaning I don't get any tax benefits today for a Roth, I do get to everything I earn in that account, I don't pay taxes on, and everything I take out in that account later on, I'll pay zero in taxes. So it's really powerful. You're basically paying taxes on the seed and not the crop. But there's advantages for people
Yeah.
to try to get a tax break today or tax credit today, and that advantage could be beneficial, which means you might just have a traditional account or SEP or simple, which helps you today in your taxes, and then later on you can convert that traditional to a Roth. And I have a lot of people doing that as well that will open up an account with us, roll it over from wherever you're at. Let's say you have a 401k, we roll it over into a self-directed traditional IRA, and then let it grow for a little while, and then you might decide you'll convert some or all of it to a Roth account with us. And so it really just depends upon where you're at and what makes the most sense for you. And we'll go through and do a consultation with you free of charge to kind of talk about what's the right type account for you and where do you want to kind of get the tax advantages, and then you can decide and call your CPA and get some other advice as well if you need it. So it's a very simple process, like Justin said. The reason why I got in this business is because it wasn't simple. I referred clients to these other trust companies, and they got lost in the mix, and it took forever. Look, I started doing this 22 years ago, as far as self-directing and working with partners with IRAs, and it became so frustrating. I was like, I've just got to fix it. So that's actually why I started Horizon Trust 14 years ago, is because the service was terrible. Now, we've got a very good team, like Justin said, to help you and guide you through the process and answer questions.
Yeah, because coaches, I mean, we move around a lot. You get hired and fired at the whim of the head coach. And so now you can give yourself a little bit of control in an uncontrollable world. And you mentioned the fact that you guys all just make sure everything's crossed T's, dotted I's. Explain the difference between that and somebody that's like, hey, they're advising you, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, because they get a percentage of how the action that they get you to take.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to help you set up your account, and it will be seamless. I assure you of that. If not, you'll get my personal information to correct it. If not, and that being the case, it's most companies, the big brokerage houses, or even some of my competitors, big self-directed IRA companies. They just say, "Hey, go to our website, fill out the forms, and from there, everything's either virtual and/or everything's just online." Uh, as nice as that sounds, and it probably sounds nice for my son who's 21, right? Because that's his world, right? Everything, the social media and everything's virtual. Most people that I've met, because it's their retirement money, they like to have someone on the phone. I mean, this is not like you're buying something online with your credit card, and that's how a lot of these institutions are now. It's slick. Don't get me wrong. Some of these systems and ways to track things are slick, and I do agree. I do like that, tracking and viewing things with some of these financial firms. But getting your account set up and understanding your options, it's just nice to have someone on the other side of the phone that can answer questions that particularly applies to you, and not some AI robot that's saying, you put it in here and you think you're talking to somebody, but you're really not. And that gets frustrating for me because I think I'm talking to somebody, and then like fifth question in, I'm like, oh, I answered it in a way that's not part of your script. And that's not how we are at Horizon. So you'll always get somebody. Yes, you can be online. You can check into your accounts online and log in, of course. But in the beginning, unlike I think a lot of my competitors, we're going to guide you through it. It takes 10 or 15 minutes. It's your money. And as little or as big as it is, we treat it the same. And it's someone I remember someone saying, well, do you, I've got, $65,000. Do you, and I was like, look, if you had $6,000, you might have it taken you 2 years to save 65 and someone else 5 years to save $6,500. We treat it the same. We want to make sure you have good experience and help you through the process.
Yeah, I mean, anybody listening, again, Kelsey was my initial point of contact. Jess has been my point ever since, and completely almost held hand, like going through the whole process. And when we were moving my wife's 401k, the bigger, quote unquote, more known company, they made like a pretty egregious mistake. And I don't understand how they did it. Like,
Yeah, it'll happen. Look, and we make mistakes too. Don't get me wrong. The difference is though is because we are a boutique firm. We have over $1 billion in assets, so it's not like we're tiny, but we are a boutique, and so I hear when there's an escalation or an issue or someone. I get text messages and I care, and that's why I started this business. And I think that's what's unique compared to our competitors. And I would say what else is unique is it sounds like a Rogaine commercial here, but I was a client first. I was investing and using a self-directed IRA and a real estate investor for 11 years before I started the trust company. So when people come to us and have real estate questions, I've done most real estate transactions. I've done a lot of real estate transactions. So we understand the clients, especially if it comes to real estate. We're funding businesses. We're really good at that.
so real estate is actually a hot topic for strength coaches. If you want to dive into that, because we have coaches that work in real estate, have flipped houses, like you spark some interest there.
Yeah, so I would say 70% of our clients are real estate investors. And so real estate, as you know, is like saying I am a coach. A coach of what? Uh, real estate is the same thing. You could be in real estate and be in the lending space and wholesaling and gap funding. You could be doing syndications. So I guess I'll share a couple examples, and in doing so, I will reiterate, uh, invest in what you understand and what you like. And so even though, and I've got people that love Bitcoin, it's not my gig. I remember buying one because my son said you should do it, and I did. And, it worked out. But he also told me to buy a stock before that, and it didn't work out. So, but I in general I would say 95% of what I do is I invest in what I like and understand. I like to lend. It might sound boring, but it's consistent. So I like with my IRA lending to people that are out there finding the deals, rehabbing the deals, selling them, dealing with all the stuff that I don't have time for because I'm running a business and I got a big family. And so that's something I focus on. Now I see other individuals in real estate that might be they'll do a wholesaler or two a year. Now, if you know wholesaling, just think about that for a second. It's probably one of the sexier things. Definitely more exciting than talking about lending. Me earning 10 or 12% of my money, I think is powerful. It's beating the stock market. But just think about wholesaling. Let's say you do 2 wholesale deals a year if you're a wholesaler. So instead of putting a contract or putting a deal under contract to sell in your name or your LLC name, your IRA puts it under contract. Let's say your IRA for $5,000 puts it under contract. And let's say it's my IRA. I put this deal under contract. I put down $5,000 earnest. So the owner of the contract is Horizon Trust Company, FBO Greg Herleen Roth. And let's say I then flip that and wholesale it to Justin. And Justin buys that contract and buys that deal for 15,000, or let's call it a $15,000 fee to me, the wholesaler. Justin buys it. We close. I get my $5,000 earnest back, plus I get $15,000. So my $5,000 Roth turned into $20,000 in one transaction. One transaction. What is that? A 300% return in a 60-day or 30-day or 90-day period. If I only do that twice a year, that's it. All of a sudden, my little $5,000 beginner self-directed IRA account went from five to potentially 20, 30, or $40,000 in 1 year doing 2 transactions. Now, there's some different rules and then how you got to do it. You can't pay yourself commissions and fees and realtor fees, etc. There's definitely some rules, and we'll walk you through that. But I like to passively invest, typically in lending. Sometimes I'll do a syndication deal, meaning maybe Justin finds a deal and he's looking for an additional capital partner, equity partner. Maybe he puts up 20 grand and my IRA puts up 20 grand and I get X percentage of the deal. And again, he works on it, flips it, etc. So there's whatever you're into when it comes to real estate, most likely you can do it with an IRA. What you can't do is buy a vacation property with your IRA, Airbnb it for 50 weeks and use it for 2 weeks. You can, because it's the usage that messes it up if your IRA buys it. But if you're not using it, you can do an Airbnb. Can't buy your own personal property. You also can't be the one physically doing the work and labor on a fix and flip. You can IRA can buy a house and flip it, but you need to hire someone to oversee it or manage it, which is a good thing for me because I hated the oversight of management of projects, nor did I have the time for it. So I did in the beginning when I was 23 years old, but after you got 3 or 4 at the same time, I know it sounds like a little bit, but it's a lot. I mean, Justin, if you've done some deals, I mean, one deal alone, I mean, between everyone taking longer and your babysitting contract or, subcontractors arriving, it's a lot of work. And so I like paying someone else to do that when it comes to, especially when it comes to my IRA. So there's some rules and we help you with that. But really the first step is taking action. And I would say that's probably the most important thing, Justin, is most likely if you're listening to this, 50% of you have this old 401k out there and you are doing nothing with it. It's just sitting there and you don't know what you can do with it. And so I think this applies to the 50% of you that have that, or you might have like 3 of those and it has, and let's say it only has $2,000. Like there is really, I mean, I would say 2,000 is probably the limit about as far as where as low as you want to go. But if you have $2,000 or more, you can move it into Self Direct and wholesale your first deal. $1,000 earnest money, flip it to 5 or 10, or buy precious metals, or buy cryptocurrency, or do a syndication deal. Like you and 10 of your buddies can all go in on a deal using your IRAs or non-IRAs and lend to somebody or partner with somebody. It's way more fun. You don't pay taxes, at least not now, maybe not ever if it's a Roth. And you're doing something with this old $2,000 that probably was $2,000 or $10,000 literally 4 years ago. Probably 4 years ago was $10,000. It went up. It came back down. It's up again right now. And when I say up, it's probably back at $10,000. So in the last 5 years, it's about the same. And so just kind of get out of that wave of up and down cycles and getting something more consistent.
Yeah. And that's like you said, you talked about the fact that you like to lend because you're busy. You're running a business. These coaches, they're busy coaching. They're working 40, 50, 60 hours during the week. They don't have time to be doing that, but they can get control of their finances. We keep these Money Mondays short, and we want to respect your time and coaches' times as they're driving into work. What is the next steps that they can do to be able to get in touch with somebody? You talked about a free consultation call.
Yeah, look, you can just email me directly. I mean, Justin's got my contact as well. There is no hard sales pitch. That is not. We want to help those that want. If you want a call and help us answer your questions, email me. My email is gregherleen@horizontrust.com. You can obviously go to horizontrust.com on our website and just say you heard us together on the podcast. But my email is gregherleen. It's HERLEAN. At horizontrust.com. Email me, just say I'm interested in learning more about the self-directed. We'll get back to you and set up an appointment, send you a link to set up an appointment with us for same day or sometime that week and help answer any questions you might have. Again, if you've got this old 401k, don't let this be you 2 years from now where it's still the same value. You're not paying attention to it. Do something new with it and have fun with it.
Appreciate it, Greg. You have a great rest of your day, man. Thanks for coming on and sharing with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Why don't you celebrate by watching more videos just like it? You can also help us on our quest to placate the algorithm gods by liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Thank you.